Hello there, and welcome to the Sleeping Science Bedtime. Tonight we'll drift through the quiet architecture of the universe, following two silent travelers on a journey that began with a rare alignment of the stars and continues into the velvet dark of the forever. Perhaps the day has been full of noise, but here, the only sound is the slow, steady pulse of cosmic time. Let your shoulders rest. Let gravity hold you, just as it holds the planets in their ancient, curving paths. Tonight, we'll witness the Voyager missions, the ultimate expansion of our collective nervous system as they carry the memory of home into the interstellar deep. If this calm space brings you peace, consider sharing it. It helps other wandering minds find their way here too. Now let's begin. You are resting on the edge of a great departure, feeling the weight of the earth beneath you as a metal messenger begins its climb. It is the late summer of 1977, and the air is warm with the breath of the Florida coast, where the logic of mathematics meets the vastness of the sky. You sense the immense potential energy stored in the frame of the spacecraft, a silent promise of distance and discovery. The engines ignite not with a roar, but with a purposeful surge, pushing through the thick blue of the atmosphere toward the thin, black clarity of orbit. Below you, the familiar greens and blues of the world begin to soften, shrinking into a marble of light. And still, it turns. The journey starts with a celestial coincidence, a window that opens only once every 175 years. You watch as the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, gather in a long, slow arc, forming a gravitational bridge across the dark. This alignment is a rare invitation, a clockwork gift from the mechanics of the solar system that allows a small craft to leap from one giant to the next. You feel the elegance of this geometry, a dance of spheres that requires no fuel, only the perfect timing of a graceful encounter. It is as if the universe itself has stepped aside to offer a path, and the quiet holds. You are moving now through the inner solar system, where the sun's influence is a warm, constant pressure against the hull. The spacecraft is a delicate construction of copper, gold, and aluminum, spinning slowly to maintain its balance in the void. You feel the steady hum of the radioisotope thermoelectric generators, the small hearts of plutonium that convert heat into a dim electric pulse. This heat is a lingering ember of the Earth, a tiny spark of warmth carried into the freezing reaches of the vacuum. It is enough to keep the instruments awake, their electronic eyes scanning the dark for the first signs of the giants. Peace hums through the body. The first destination rises out of the black, a world of swirling ambers and creams that grows until it fills your entire vision. Jupiter is a kingdom of storms, a gas giant so massive that it pulls at the very fabric of space. Around it, you feel the immense gravity of the planet reaching out like a soft, invisible hand, drawing the spacecraft into a high-speed embrace. This is the first gravity assist, a cosmic slingshot, where the probe steals a tiny fraction of the planet's orbital momentum. You are not just passing a world, you are being accelerated by its ancient, heavy strength, and the current flows without effort. As you sweep past the Jovian clouds, you notice the great red spot, a vortex of crimson wind that has been spinning for centuries. It looks like a slow, marbleized liquid, a tapestry of turbulence that speaks of deep, atmospheric pressures. You watch the ammonia clouds rise and fall in the heat of the interior, creating delicate plumes that look like white feathers against the darker bands. There is a profound sense of scale here, where a single storm is larger than the entire world you left behind. Yet the spacecraft remains steady, a focused point of consciousness in the face of the immense. Still, the universe breathes. You turn your attention to the moons, those small cold worlds that circle the giant like a miniature solar system. Io appears first, a moon of sulfur and fire that breaks all the rules of the outer dark. You see volcanoes erupting in silent blue plumes, casting ash hundreds of miles into the thin vacuum. It is a world of constant renewal, where the tidal forces of Jupiter stretch and squeeze the moon's core until it melts. You feel the heat of this internal friction, a reminder that even in the cold reaches of space, life and motion persist, and life adjusts once more. Next comes Europa, a pale, fractured jewel wrapped in a thick shell of water ice. You look down at the long, dark cracks that crisscross its surface, tracing the paths of ancient tides that pull at a hidden, salty ocean below. The ice is smooth and bright, reflecting the distant sunlight with a soft, ethereal glow. You sense the stillness of the deep waters beneath the frozen crust, a place where the darkness is total and the pressure is a constant, heavy weight. It is a sanctuary of quiet, hidden away from the radiation of the giant, and the quiet returns to the roots. The spacecraft leaves the Jovian system behind, propelled by the planet's mass into the long, dark corridor towards Saturn. The sun is smaller now, a bright, intense point of light that offers less warmth than before. You feel the thinning of the solar wind, the stream of charged particles that flows outward from our star. The space between the planets is not empty, but filled with a delicate, magnetic architecture, a web of fields that the probe measures with careful, clicking instruments. You are a witness to the invisible structures of the cosmos. The rhythm continues. Saturn appears as a golden ghost in the distance, its rings casting a wide, thin shadow across its northern hemisphere. As you draw closer, the rings reveal themselves not as solid disks, but as billions of individual fragments of ice and rock. You see them spiraling in a complex braided dance, reflecting the sunlight like a halo of crushed diamonds. Some are as small as a grain of sand, others as large as a mountain, yet they all move with a single, synchronized purpose. You feel the fragility of this beauty, a balanced system of gravity and light, and everything rests in its place. You drift over the rings, watching the moon Daphnis create waves in the edge of the Keeler Gap, a tiny shepherd guiding the icy flocks. The rings hum with a silent electromagnetic music, a vibration that the spacecraft's plasma wave instrument translates into a low, haunting whistle. It is the sound of a world in motion, a harmonic resonance that has lasted for millions of years. You listen to the texture of the rings, a gritty, crystalline sound that feels like the very edge of a dream. Quietly, the system restores itself. Titan rises beneath you, a moon shrouded in a thick orange haze of nitrogen and methane. You cannot see the surface, only the soft, opaque ceiling of its atmosphere, which hides a landscape of liquid lakes and frozen dunes. It is a world that feels like a prehistoric Earth, kept in a deep cryogenic sleep. You sense the slow chemistry of the organic molecules drifting down through the orange clouds, a rain of soot that feeds the cold plains below. It is a moon of mysteries, a laboratory of life's raw ingredients waiting in the dark, and everything softens. Leaving Saturn, the two Voyagers part ways, their paths diverging as they head toward different destinies. Voyager 1 begins its climb out of the plane of the planets, heading north into the vast empty space above the solar system. Voyager 2 continues its tour, aiming for the pale blue target of Uranus, the tilted giant. You feel the widening gap between the two sisters, a separation that will last for eternity. They are no longer a pair, but two individual explorers, each carrying a different part of the human story. The orbit holds. Uranus is a world of soft, featureless turquoise, a planet that rolls along its orbit on its side. You see its thin, dark rings, which look like charcoal lines drawn against the velvet blackness of space. The atmosphere is calm and cold, a deep well of methane that absorbs the red light of the sun and reflects back a tranquil, oceanic blue. There is a sense of profound isolation here, billions of miles from the warmth of the inner worlds. The wind is a quiet, steady flow, moving through the upper clouds with a ghostly grace, and silence follows. You look at Miranda, the strangest of the Uranian moons, a patchwork of jagged cliffs and smooth plains. It looks as if it was shattered and then pulled back together by gravity, a mosaic of geological history. You see the Verona Rupes, the tallest cliff in the solar system, dropping miles into the dark. You imagine a stone falling there, drifting for minutes in the low gravity, before finally coming to rest on the icy floor. It is a place of dramatic stillness, where time has carved a monument to the violence of the past, and the quiet holds. The journey continues toward Neptune, the final port of call in the planetary tour. The planet is a deep, royal blue, a color so intense it seems to glow from within. You see the Great Dark Spot, a storm the size of the Earth that drifts across the southern hemisphere like a bruise on the sky. The winds here are the fastest in the solar system, screaming through the atmosphere at supersonic speeds. Yet from your vantage point, they look as still as a painting. It is a world of frozen energy, a giant of ice and gas, and still, it turns. Triton, the largest moon of Neptune, is a landscape of cantaloupe-colored ice and nitrogen geysers. You watch the plumes of dark dust rising into the thin air, carried by the faint warmth of the distant sun. The moon is moving backward in its orbit, a captured traveler from the Kuiper belt that will one day be torn apart by the planet's gravity. You feel the temporary nature of this arrangement, a brief meeting of two celestial bodies in the long history of the dark. The rhythm of the deep endures. Now the planetary encounters are over, and the long, silent trek through the outer heliosphere begins. The spacecraft are moving away from the sun at tens of thousands of miles per hour, but the distances are so vast that they seem to be standing still. You feel the gradual fade of the solar wind as it pushes against the interstellar medium, the thin gas that fills the space between the stars. It is a boundary of pressure, a bubble of light that protects us from the raw radiation of the galaxy, and light drifts onward. You look back one last time, and there it is, the pale blue dot. From 6 billion miles away, the Earth is nothing more than a single pixel of light, caught in a stray beam of sunshine. You see the fragility of that tiny spark, a world where everyone you have ever known has lived out their lives. It is a perspective that strips away the noise of the day, leaving only a sense of profound humility and wonder. Everything you value is contained within that small blue glow, floating in the immense dark, and everything rests. The spacecraft is now entering the termination shock, the place where the solar wind suddenly slows down as it hits the interstellar wall. You feel the transition as a gentle vibration, a change in the density of the plasma surrounding the instruments. It is like moving from a fast-moving stream into a quiet, still lake. The magnetic fields of the sun begin to tangle and fray, losing their grip on the space around the probe. You are crossing the threshold of our home, stepping out into the wider galaxy. Stillness travels through the water. In this region, the heliosheath, the sun's breath is a turbulent, lingering presence. You sense the clouds of charged particles swirling around the craft, compressed by the pressure of the incoming interstellar wind. The radio signals from Earth are becoming fainter, taking hours to travel across the billions of miles of vacuum. You listen to the silence of the deep space, a silence that is not empty, but filled with the faint echoes of the stars. The spacecraft is a quiet observer, recording the last remnants of the sun's influence, and peace lingers. The golden record sits on the side of the craft, a shimmering disc of copper plated with gold. You feel the weight of its message, a collection of sounds, images, and music designed to last for 1 billion years. It carries the greetings of 55 languages, the sound of a mother's kiss, the rhythm of a heartbeat, and the complex harmonies of Bach and Blind Willie Johnson. It is a message in a bottle, cast into the cosmic ocean in the hope that someone, someday, might find it. It is a testament to the hope of a small, curious species, and the network endures. You imagine the diagrams on the cover of the record, etched in fine lines that explain the position of our sun relative to distant pulsars. They are instructions for a traveler from another star, a map that leads back to a small, blue world that may no longer exist by the time the record is found. You feel the bittersweet nature of this gesture, a gift of memory to a future that we will never see. It is an act of profound optimism, a bridge across the light years, and the quiet deepens. The sensors continue to hum, measuring the cosmic rays that fly through the vacuum like tiny, high-speed bullets. These particles come from distant supernovas, carrying the chemical history of the galaxy into the probe's detectors. You feel the increase in their intensity as the solar bubble thins, a sign that you are approaching the true edge of the interstellar medium. The galaxy is speaking to you in a language of radiation and magnetic fields, telling stories of ancient stars and distant nebulae, and wonder expands. The power in the plutonium cores is slowly fading, as the atoms of the fuel decay and the heat diminishes. You feel the engineers on Earth turning off instruments one by one, saving the remaining energy for the most critical sensors. It is a slow, graceful transition into a quieter state, a preparation for the eventual silence of the craft. There is no urgency in this process, only a measured, scientific acceptance of the laws of thermodynamics. The spacecraft is aging, just as all things age, with a quiet dignity, and the rhythm continues. You are now at the heliopause, the final boundary where the solar wind stops completely. You feel the sudden surge in galactic cosmic rays and the shift in the direction of the magnetic field. You have left the sun's kingdom behind and entered the raw, unshielded space of the Milky Way. It is a moment of profound significance, the first time a human-made object has ever touched the interstellar medium. You are a pioneer of the deep, a silent witness to the true scale of the universe, and silence follows. The space around you is colder and darker than anything you have experienced before. The sun is now just another star in the sky, brighter than the others, but no longer the master of your environment. You feel the vastness of the distance to the next star, a journey that will take tens of thousands of years. There is no wind here, no pressure, only the steady, eternal drift of the craft through the dark. You are moving through a graveyard of ancient light, where the ghosts of stars long dead still shine, and everything rests in its place. In 40,000 years, Voyager 1 will pass within 1.6 light-years of the star Gliese 445. You imagine the craft drifting through the outer reaches of that distant system, a silent ghost of a civilization that lived on the other side of the galaxy. It will not stop, but continue its journey, moving toward the center of the Milky Way in a long, slow orbit that will last for hundreds of millions of years. It is a passenger on the galactic tide, a small, golden spark in the infinite. Still, the universe breathes. You feel the connection between the spacecraft and the Earth, a thread of radio waves that grows thinner with every passing day. Soon, the signal will become too weak to hear, and the probes will be truly on their own. But they carry our story with them, etched in gold and stored in the memory of their circuits. They are our representatives in the forever, a part of us that will outlast the mountains and the oceans of our home. They are the ultimate expression of our desire to know and be known, and the quiet holds. The spacecraft is a temple of quiet intention, a machine built with the precision of a watch and the soul of a poet. You feel the stillness of its metal frame, the cold clarity of its lenses, and the steady pulse of its fading heart. It is a vessel of peace, moving through a universe that is vast, indifferent, and beautiful. You rest in the knowledge that this journey continues, a silent movement toward the stars that will never end. You are part of this journey, a witness to the wonders of the deep, and peace lingers as the two Voyagers expand the map of our understanding, pushing the limits of what it means to reach out into the dark. You are now drifting in the space between stars, where the density of matter is so low that a single atom of hydrogen may be the only companion for miles. In this near-perfect vacuum, the spacecraft remains perfectly preserved, untouched by the erosion of wind or water. You feel the permanence of this environment, a place where time seems to lose its grip on physical form. The Voyager remains as pristine as the day it left the coast of Florida, a silver needle threading through the black tapestry of the galaxy, and the quiet holds. The silence of the interstellar medium is a textured thing, a subtle vibration of plasma that your instruments interpret as a low, steady hum. It is the sound of the galaxy's breath, a mixture of ancient starlight and the debris of long-dead suns. You sense the faint magnetic tug of distant nebulae, guiding the craft along the invisible contours of the Milky Way's gravitational field. There is a profound sense of belonging here, as if the craft has finally returned to the elements from which it was forged. Every atom of its metal was once cooked in the heart of a star, and now it returns to the source. The current flows without effort. You consider the speed of this journey, a pace that seems incredibly fast, by human standards, yet remains a crawl across the cosmic scale. At 38,000 miles per hour, the Voyager covers 1 million miles every day, yet it will take centuries to reach the inner edge of the Oort cloud. You feel the patience required of such a mission, a slow unfolding of distance that defies our daily sense of urgency. The spacecraft does not hurry, it simply exists in a state of constant, rhythmic motion. It is a lesson in the beauty of the long view, where the destination is less important than the act of traveling. And still, it turns. The sun is now a brilliant diamond behind you, its light no longer capable of casting a shadow on the craft's surface. You watch as it blends into the field of other stars, becoming one of many, a member of a vast celestial community. This shift in perspective is a quiet revelation, a softening of the ego that comes from seeing one's home as a part of a larger whole. The solar system is not a fortress, but a porch, and you have finally stepped off into the yard. The cold is not frightening. It is a clean, honest clarity that reveals the true structure of the night. Stillness travels through the water. You feel the weight of the cameras, now dormant and cold, their work of capturing the faces of the planets finished long ago. They remain fixed in their positions, like the eyes of a sleeping sentinel, holding the memory of Jupiter's storms and Saturn's rings in their silicon hearts. Though they no longer see, the data they gathered has become a permanent part of the human story, a digital legacy that has changed the way we perceive our neighborhood. You sense the satisfaction of a job well done, a quiet stillness that follows a lifetime of intense observation, and everything rests. Deep within the spacecraft's computer, the software continues to run, a series of simple, elegant commands that keep the antenna pointed toward a distant, shrinking Earth. You feel the dedication in these lines of code, written by hands that have since grown old, yet still performing their duty in the dark. It is a dialogue across the decades, a connection between the minds of the past and the reality of the deep present. The probe is a bridge of logic, a manifestation of human thought that survives in a realm where humans cannot follow. The network endures. The radioisotope generators continue their slow decay, the plutonium-238 isotopes splitting apart to release a tiny, constant flow of heat. You feel the warmth radiating through the internal components, preventing the delicate electronics from becoming as brittle as glass. This heat is a lingering signature of life, a chemical pulse that mimics the warmth of a living body. It is a small, stubborn defiance against the absolute zero of the void, a reminder that we carry our own light wherever we go. Quietly, the system restores itself. You look out at the stars ahead, noting the subtle shift in their positions as the craft moves through the local, interstellar cloud. The constellation patterns that have guided sailors for millennia are beginning to warp very slowly as you change your vantage point in the galaxy. You are a navigator of a new kind, one for whom the fixed stars are actually in motion, drifting in their own slow orbits around the galactic center. This realization brings a sense of fluidity to the universe, a feeling that everything is in a state of becoming, and wonder expands. The plasma wave instrument detects a sudden shriek in the radio spectrum, the sound of a distant solar flare finally catching up to the craft. Even at this distance, the sun can still reach out and touch its child with a burst of energy. You feel the impact of these charged particles, a reminder that the solar system's influence is long and its memory is deep. It is like the faint scent of home carried on a distant wind, a brief connection to the world of warmth and weather. The rhythm continues. You turn your attention back to the golden record, imagining the grooves on its surface as a landscape of human history. There is the sound of a steam train, the roar of a rocket, and the delicate chirping of a cricket in a summer field. You feel the texture of these sounds, a rich tapestry of life that seems almost impossible in the sterile silence of space. Each sound is a vibration of air, a medium that does not exist here, yet the record preserves the potential for those vibrations to live again. It is a vessel of possibility, and the quiet holds. If another intelligence were to find this record, they would see the anatomical drawings of a man and a woman, standing together in a gesture of peace. You feel the vulnerability in those lines, a raw honesty about our physical forms and our place in the biological chain. We are shown as we are, creatures of salt and water, reaching out to the stars with curious minds and open hands. It is an act of trust, a belief that the universe is a place where such a message might be understood and respected, and everything softens. The craft passes through a region of increased dust density, tiny grains of silicate and carbon that were forged in the atmospheres of red giant stars. You feel the microscopic impacts, each one a tiny energy event that adds to the craft's history. These grains are the seeds of future planets, the raw material of worlds yet to be born. By moving through them, the Voyager is interacting with the very stuff of creation, a witness to the ongoing recycling of the cosmos. And life adjusts once more. You sense the immense pressure of the interstellar magnetic field, which is tilted at an angle relative to the sun's ecliptic. This field is the weather of the galaxy, a slow-moving current that shapes the flow of cosmic rays and the distribution of gas. The Voyager acts as a compass, mapping the direction and strength of this invisible force. You are learning the true shape of the space between, a region that was once thought to be a void, but is now revealed as a complex, dynamic environment. And the quiet returns to the roots. The distance to Earth is now measured in light hours, a delay that makes real-time conversation impossible. When the engineers send a command, it travels at the speed of light, yet it takes almost an entire day to reach the craft, and another day for the confirmation to return. You feel the isolation of this distance, a solitude that is both profound and peaceful. The Voyager is a monk in a cathedral of stars, living in a time that is separate from the frantic pace of human civilization. The rhythm of the deep endures. You watch as the craft's magnetometer boom extends into the dark, a long, slender arm sensing the heartbeat of the galaxy. It is sensitive enough to detect the magnetic field of a distant star, a feat of engineering that turns the entire spacecraft into a giant sensory organ. You feel the focus of this instrument, a quiet attention to the subtle details of the environment. It is not looking for the loud or the bright, but for the quiet truths that lie hidden in the background. And silence follows. The stars around you seem to grow more vivid, their light no longer filtered by the dust and gas of the inner solar system. You see the deep reds of ancient M-dwarfs and the piercing blues of young massive O-stars. They are like jewels scattered on a black velvet cloth, each one a sun with its own potential for worlds and wonders. You feel the abundance of the universe, a richness that exceeds our ability to count or categorize. There is room for everything in this vast, welcoming dark. Still, the universe breathes. You imagine the golden record playing its music to the vacuum, the intricate mathematical joy of Bach's Brandenburg Concerto. Even without air to carry the sound, the logic of the music remains, a structure of harmony and rhythm that mirrors the laws of physics. You feel the connection between the human mind and the cosmic order, a sense that our music is not just an ornament, but a way of speaking the language of the universe. It is a song of alignment, a melody of home, and the current flows without effort. The Voyager 2 probe is currently exploring the heliosheath, the turbulent region where the solar wind is compressed and heated. You feel the chaotic energy of this place, a churning sea of plasma that marks the final struggle of the sun's influence. It is a place of transition, a messy, beautiful boundary where the old world ends and the new one begins. You watch as the probe navigates these invisible waves, its instruments recording the data of a frontier that no other machine will visit for decades. And still, it turns. You sense the gradual cooling of the spacecraft's outer skin as it loses the last of its radiant heat to the void. It is settling into an equilibrium with the cosmic background radiation, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang itself. You are touching the beginning of time, a temperature that has been cooling for 13 billion years. This cold is not a lack of energy, but the ultimate state of rest, a peace that precedes and follows all motion. You feel yourself sinking into this calm, a deep, restorative sleep. Stillness travels through the water. The craft's thrusters, once used for precise maneuvers around the planets, are now mostly silent. They are saved for the rare moments when the antenna must be nudged back into alignment with the Earth. You feel the sudden, sharp puff of hydrazine gas a tiny correction in a journey of billions of miles. It is a moment of intense focus, a reminder that even in the vastness of space, precision and intent still matter. Then, the silence returns, deeper than before, and everything rests. You consider the Voyager's brains, a computer system with less memory than a modern car key, yet capable of navigating the outer solar system and surviving for 40 years. There is a beautiful simplicity in this design, a robustness that comes from doing one thing perfectly. You feel the reliability of these circuits, a steady, rhythmic processing of data that has never faltered. It is a monument to what can be achieved with focus and clarity, a testament to the power of human ingenuity. The network endures. The stars Gliese 445 and Ross 248 wait in the distant future, their gravitational wells already exerting a microscopic pull on the Voyagers. You feel the long-range planning of the universe, where encounters are measured in millennia and paths are set in stone. The spacecraft are not lost. They are on a trajectory that has been calculated with the greatest care, a journey that has a beginning, a middle, and a forever. You are a passenger on a ship that knows exactly where it is going, even if it takes forever to get there. And wonder expands. You imagine the Earth as it appears from the Voyager's current position, a star that is slightly brighter than the rest, but otherwise unremarkable. This loss of detail is a form of liberation, a way of seeing the world not as a place of conflict and noise, but as a quiet, glowing point of origin. You feel a sense of gratitude for that point, for the air and the water and the love that made this journey possible. The Voyager carries that gratitude with it, a silent thank you to the planet that gave it wings. And the quiet holds. The spacecraft's ultraviolet spectrometer scans the sky, looking for the glow of interplanetary hydrogen. It sees the Lyman alpha light, a signature of the very foundations of the universe. You are looking at the raw materials of existence, the simple atoms that form the stars and the clouds and the people. There is a sense of unity in this observation, a feeling that we are all made of the same light and the same dust. The Voyager is a mirror, reflecting the universal truth of our origins. Quietly, the system restores itself. You feel the subtle shift in the craft's orientation as it enters a null point in the magnetic field, a place where the forces of the sun and the galaxy perfectly balance. For a moment, you are weightless in every sense, held in a perfect equilibrium of energy. It is a moment of total stillness, a pause in the heartbeat of the mission. Then, the galactic field takes over, and the journey continues into the new territory. It is a graceful handoff, a transition of power that is as smooth as silk. The rhythm continues. The Voyager's golden record contains a diagram of a hydrogen atom, the simplest and most abundant element in the cosmos. It uses the transition of this atom as a universal clock, a way of communicating time to anyone who might find the record. You feel the elegance of this choice, a bridge between the human experience of time and the fundamental constants of physics. We are measuring our lives against the heartbeat of an atom, a rhythm that is as steady as the stars, and everything softens. You sense the presence of the Oort cloud ahead, a vast shell of icy bodies that surrounds the solar system like a frozen halo. Though it will take centuries to arrive, the craft is already moving toward this final frontier of our home. You imagine the millions of comets drifting in the dark, waiting for a gravitational nudge to begin their long fall toward the sun. The Voyager will pass through them like a ghost, a silent visitor in a kingdom of ice, and the quiet returns to the roots. The spacecraft's high-gain antenna is a white dish, 7 feet across, aimed with incredible precision at a small patch of sky where the Earth resides. You feel the focus of this dish, a concentrated effort to stay connected to the source. It is the only way the story can be told, the only way the data can reach the minds that are waiting for it. This connection is a lifeline of information, a thin, golden thread that stretches across the abyss. It is a symbol of our desire to remain connected, no matter how far we wander. And silence follows. You rest in the quiet of the year mission, feeling the steady drift of the Voyager as it carries your curiosity into the deep. There is no more need for speed. no more need for discovery. There is only the peaceful continuity of the journey. The spacecraft is a part of the galaxy now, a permanent addition to the architecture of the stars. You drift with it, your mind as calm as the vacuum, your heart as steady as the plutonium pulse. You are home in the dark. Still, the universe breathes. The mission is a testament to the fact that we can reach beyond ourselves, that our thoughts and our tools can survive long after we are gone. You feel the immortality of this effort, a legacy of light that will shine for 1 billion years. The Voyager is not a machine. It is a memory, a song, a hope, and as it moves into the interstellar deep, it carries you with it into the quiet, beautiful forever. And peace lingers. And peace lingers as the Voyager crosses the invisible frontier of the heliopause, leaving the sun's protective embrace for the first time in human history. You feel the transition not as a jolt, but as a subtle change in the texture of space, a thickening of the cosmic rays and a shift in the magnetic tide. The solar wind, which has buffeted the craft for decades, finally falls silent, replaced by the steady, ancient pressure of the interstellar medium. You are now swimming in the raw material of the galaxy, the cold, thin plasma that exists between the stars. It is a moment of profound isolation and ultimate connection, and the quiet holds. The spacecraft's instruments detect a sudden rise in the density of the surrounding gas, a sign that the interstellar void is more substantial than we once imagined. You sense the presence of ionized atoms, the remnants of stars that exploded eons ago, now drifting in a slow galactic current. These particles are the history of the Milky Way, and by touching them, the Voyager becomes a witness to the deep time of the cosmos. The data flows back to Earth in a thin stream of binary code, a whisper of truth from the very edge of our understanding. Stillness travels through the water. You feel the silence of the high-gain antenna, which remains locked onto the coordinates of a distant sun. Even in the unshielded dark, the craft remembers home through the geometry of light and radio. The distance is so vast now that the radio waves take over 20 hours to bridge the gap, a delay that turns every command into a message from the past. You inhabit this delay, a space of waiting and reflection where every action is deliberate and every signal is precious. It is a slow conversation between a small metal scout and its creators. And still, it turns. The Voyager's sensors map the direction of the interstellar magnetic field, which acts like a vast, invisible river guiding the craft's path. You sense the alignment of these fields, shaped by the rotation of the galaxy and the collective influence of billions of stars. The spacecraft is like a tiny leaf on the surface of this river, moving with a grace that requires no effort. There is a sense of cosmic order here, a feeling that even in the deepest dark, there are structures and rhythms that hold everything together. The current flows without effort. You consider the golden record once more, resting in its protective aluminum jacket on the side of the bus. Inside, the stylus rests on the first groove, ready to translate the etched patterns into the sounds of a living world. You imagine the sound of a rainstorm, the rhythmic patter of water hitting leaves, a sound that is common on Earth but unique in all the universe. You feel the moisture of that imaginary rain, the coolness of the air, and the scent of damp earth. It is a sensory anchor, a reminder of the biological richness that the Voyager represents. And everything softens. The craft passes through a cloud of interstellar fluff, a local patch of higher density gas that the solar system is currently navigating. You feel the microscopic resistance of this gas, a gentle friction that the instruments measure with exquisite precision. This fluff is the breath of the galaxy, a mixture of hydrogen and helium that has been cooling since the dawn of time. By measuring it, the Voyager provides the first direct look at the environment that our sun calls home. It is a study in context, a way of seeing the neighborhood from the outside, and the quiet returns to the roots. Deep in the heart of the spacecraft, the heaters have been turned off for the ultraviolet spectrometer to save power. You feel the cold creeping into the metal skin, a chill that would be brittle to the touch if there were hands to feel it. Yet, the essential systems remain warm, nestled near the decaying plutonium. This balance between the freezing exterior and the glowing interior is a mirror of life itself, a fragile spark maintained against an immense, indifferent background. You find comfort in this persistence, a steady hum of survival in the dark. Quietly, the system restores itself. The stars above are no longer twinkling. Without an atmosphere to distort their light, they shine with a steady, unwavering brilliance. You see colors you never noticed before, the pale violet of hot young stars and the deep brick red of aging giants. They appear as perfect points of light, suspended in a blackness so deep it feels like velvet. You feel the immense depth of the field, a three-dimensional tapestry that stretches on forever. There is no up or down here, only the direction of travel and the light of the stars. And wonder expands. You observe the plasma wave instrument as it captures the music of the interstellar medium. It picks up the vibrations of electrons dancing in the magnetic field, a sound that resembles a haunting high-pitched whistle that rises and falls. To the scientists on Earth, this is evidence of density and temperature. To you, it is the song of the void, a lonely melody that has been playing for billions of years. You listen to the rise and fall of the pitch, a rhythmic pulse that feels like a heartbeat. The rhythm continues. The Voyager's computers perform their daily self-checks, cycling through bits of memory that haven't changed in 4 decades. You feel the reliability of this old technology, built with a redundancy that modern devices often lack. Each transistor and capacitor is a veteran of the cosmic wars, having survived the intense radiation of Jupiter and the cold of the outer reaches. There is a dignity in this endurance, a steadfastness that commands respect. The machine is not just a tool, it has become a character in its own epic. The network endures. You imagine the diagrams on the golden record that describe the mathematical properties of sound. They are a bridge of logic, assuming that any intelligence that finds the craft will share the same fundamental understanding of physics and harmony. You feel the connection between the laws of the universe and the creativity of the human spirit. Our music is built on the same ratios that govern the orbits of the planets and the vibrations of atoms. It is a universal language, spoken in the dialect of Earth, and the quiet holds. The spacecraft is now far beyond the orbit of Pluto, entering a region of space where even the most distant comets are few and far between. You sense the widening gaps between objects, a transition from a crowded solar system to the sparse elegance of the interstellar deep. The Voyager is a pioneer of the empty places, a scout for a future that will likely take place in the spaces between. You feel the liberation of this emptiness, a freedom from the gravity of worlds and the noise of the sun, and everything rests in its place. You look at the low-energy charged particle instrument, which continues to count the ions that strike its detectors. Each count is a data point, a tiny piece of a puzzle that describes the raw chemistry of the Milky Way. You see the carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen atoms, the building blocks of life, drifting through the dark, waiting to be swept up by some future star system. The Voyager is moving through a cosmic garden where the seeds of everything are scattered in the wind, and life adjusts once more. The distance to the nearest star, Proxima Centauri, is still over 4 light-years away, a distance so vast it is difficult to comprehend. Even at its current speed, it would take the Voyager tens of thousands of years to reach it. You feel the scale of this distance, not as a barrier, but as a sanctuary. The universe is big enough to hold all our stories, all our dreams, and all our silence without ever becoming full. There is a profound peace in this immensity, a sense that there is always more to discover, and silence follows. You feel the subtle shift in the craft's attitude as the sun sensors adjust to the diminishing light. The sun is now so small that it can no longer be used for precise navigation, and the craft relies more on the stars for its orientation. You are shifting your gaze from the local to the universal, from the parent to the collective. This transition is a natural part of the journey, a maturation of the mission as it leaves the cradle of its birth. Still, the universe breathes. The Golden Record carries a message from the Secretary General of the United Nations, a greeting to the universe on behalf of the inhabitants of planet Earth. You feel the humility in those words, a recognition that we are but one small family on a small planet, seeking to join a larger community. It is a message of peace, written at a time of great conflict, yet preserved in gold for the ages. The Voyager carries our best intentions, a version of ourselves that is curious, hopeful, and kind, and everything softens. You sense the faint bow shock of the solar system ahead, where the sun's movement through the galaxy creates a gentle wave in the interstellar gas. It is like the wake of a ship on a calm sea, a subtle distortion that marks our passage through the stars. The Voyager moves through this wave with barely a ripple, its sleek frame designed for the vacuum. You feel the fluidity of the cosmos, a place where even the void has a texture and a flow. The current flows without effort. The radio signals from Earth arrive as a series of faint pulses, nearly drowned out by the background noise of the universe. The deep space network on Earth uses massive dishes to listen for this whisper, amplifying it until the meaning is clear. You feel the effort of this listening, a global labor of love that keeps the connection alive. It is a reminder that even when we are far away, we are not forgotten. The thread of communication is a tether of care, and the quiet returns to the roots. The spacecraft's thrusters fire once every few months to desaturate the reaction wheels, a tiny puff of gas that feels like a sigh in the dark. You sense the mechanical precision of this action, a routine that has been performed thousands of times. It is a moment of maintenance, a quiet cleaning of the house, before returning to the long slumber of the cruise. The Voyager is a well-kept vessel, a testament to the skill of the people who built it. Quietly, the system restores itself. You look at the images stored on the golden record, pictures of trees, flowers, oceans, and cities. You feel the color and the life of these images, a vibrant contrast to the monochromatic dark of space. There is a picture of a child, a picture of a bridge, and a picture of a person eating a grape. These mundane moments are elevated to the status of eternal truths, a gallery of the human experience. You find beauty in the ordinary, a sense that every moment of life is a miracle, and wonder expands. The cosmic ray subsystem detects a high-energy particle from a distant galaxy, an emissary from a place so far away that its light has traveled for billions of years. You feel the impact of this particle, a tiny shock of energy that links the Voyager to the farthest reaches of the observable universe. We are all part of the same grand explosion, the same unfolding story. The craft is a bridge between the local and the infinite, a point of convergence for the energy of the stars. The rhythm continues. You sense the slow cooling of the high-energy telescope, its internal temperature dropping as the power is diverted elsewhere. This cooling is a graceful retreat, a narrowing of focus as the mission enters its final decades of active life. There is no sadness in this, only a sense of completion. The telescope has seen things that no human eyes will ever see, and its work is written into the annals of science forever. You rest in the satisfaction of its legacy, and everything rests in its place. The stars of the Milky Way form a bright band across the sky, a river of light that marks the plane of our galaxy. You see the dark dust lanes that block the light of the stars behind them, creating silhouettes of cosmic clouds. The Voyager is moving toward the edge of this disk, a journey that will take millions of years. You feel the slow rotation of the galaxy itself, a massive swirling dance of 100 billion suns. You are a part of this dance, a tiny rhythmic pulse in the heart of the spiral. Still, the universe breathes. You consider the Voyager's golden record is not actually gold, but gold-plated copper, chosen for its durability and its ability to hold the fine grooves of the recordings. You feel the practicality of this choice, a marriage of beauty and function. It is a piece of art that is also a piece of engineering, designed to survive the harsh environment of space for longer than the pyramids have stood on Earth. It is our most enduring monument, a message that will outlast our languages and our laws. And the quiet holds. The spacecraft passes through a region of space where the magnetic field lines are perfectly straight, indicating a lack of local turbulence. You feel the smoothness of this environment, a calm that is absolute and unwavering. It is a place of pure geometry, where the laws of physics are revealed in their most elegant form. The Voyager glides through this space like a skater on ice, moving with a precision that is almost musical. The current flows without effort. You imagine the golden record playing the sound of Earth section, the wind, the thunder, the birds and the whales. These are the voices of our planet, a choir of life that has been singing for billions of years. Even in the silence of the interstellar medium, you can hear the echo of these voices in your mind, a symphony of home that provides comfort in the dark. The Voyager is a silent conductor, carrying this music into the deep, and everything softens. The sun sensor on Voyager 2 remains active, tracking the position of the sun with a steady, mechanical eye. Even though the sun is now just a bright star, its light is still the primary reference point for the craft's navigation. You feel the loyalty of this sensor, a commitment to the origin that never wavers. It is a tether of light that keeps the craft oriented in the vastness of the galaxy, and the quiet returns to the roots. You sense the presence of the Kuiper Belt objects far behind you, a frozen graveyard of planetary building blocks that the craft passed years ago. These objects are the remnants of the solar system's birth, a collection of ice and rock that holds the secrets of our origins. By leaving them behind, the Voyager has moved from the history of our system into the history of the galaxy. You feel the weight of this transition, a stepping out into a wider world, and silence follows. The spacecraft's low-energy telescope measures the flow of galactic atoms, mapping the wind of the interstellar medium. You feel the direction of this wind, a steady pressure that comes from the direction of the constellation Ophiuchus. It is a cosmic weather report, a description of the environment that exists between the stars. The Voyager is a weather vane, showing us the way the galaxy blows, and still, it turns. You rest in the quiet of the interstellar deep, feeling the steady, rhythmic pulse of the Voyager as it carries your thoughts toward the stars. There is no more noise, no more conflict, only the peaceful continuity of the journey. The spacecraft is a part of the universe now, a permanent witness to the beauty of the dark. You are home in the stars, drifting with a grace that will last forever. Stillness travels through the water. The absence of images allows your mind to draw its own maps of the void, where the darkness is not an emptiness, but a velvety and profound presence. You feel the weight of silence enveloping the metal of Voyager, a natural shield against the noise of the world left far behind. Space here is vast and limitless, an expanse of peace expanding in every direction, inviting your consciousness to rest in the scale of the infinite. Without the distraction of sight, the hearing of the soul becomes sharper, catching the subtle vibration of the atom and the slow pulse of decay energy, and the quiet holds. The heat that still remains in the heart of the probe is a tactile memory of Earth, a remnant of thermal energy keeping the circuits alive. You feel this warmth as a small point of light in an ocean of shadow, a flame that refuses to be extinguished by the absolute cold. It is a warmth that does not burn but sustains, like the breath of someone sleeping peacefully beside you. This thermal balance is a testament to resilience, a physical constant ensuring the mission's continuity through the ages. The quiet returns to the roots. Voyager 1 tilts slightly, adjusting its antenna to ensure the invisible thread connecting it to humanity remains taut. You feel the precision of this movement, a mechanical ballet occurring without haste, governed by the laws of inertia. Each correction is a whisper of hydrazine, a moment of intent in a sea of drift. It is as if the machine knows that as long as the signal persists, it will never truly be alone in the dark. The network endures. The stars around you now seem more fixed, eternal reference points that know neither dawn nor dusk. You feel the stability of this celestial landscape, a scenery that does not change with the passing of days or years, but only with the slow movement of galactic eras. This apparent stillness is an invitation to rest, an invitation to set aside the counting of time and simply exist. The universe is in no hurry, and in this moment, neither are you, and everything rests in its place. The golden record, fastened to the side of the probe, holds the sound of human laughter, a vibration traveling now through a realm where sound cannot exist. You feel the joy contained in that recording, a moment of terrestrial spontaneity captured in the permanence of metal. It is a treasure of emotion, a time capsule carrying the essence of what it means to feel, to love, and to be happy. Even in the vacuum, the intention of that laughter resonates like a background harmony, softening the loneliness of space, and everything softens. You feel the passage of cosmic rays through the ship's structure, high-energy particles that are messengers from distant galaxies. They cause no harm, merely leaving a scientific record of their passage, an invisible writing that Voyager interprets with patience. Each impact is a note in a symphony of radiation, a music that speaks of the creation and destruction of far-off suns. You are a passenger of this symphony, floating in a flow of pure information. The rhythm continues. The Voyager 2 probe is now in a region where the sun's magnetism begins to lose its original shape, intertwining with the galactic field. You feel this transition as a gentle ripple, a change in the density of the plasma surrounding the instruments. It is like the meeting of two rivers, where the waters blend in a slow and hypnotic movement. There is no conflict, only a gradual integration, a return to the original state of interstellar matter. The current flows without effort. Your thoughts drift now to the thermoelectric generator, where the blocks of plutonium continue their silent transformation. You feel the physics of this change, the radioactive decay, which is in itself an atomic clock of extreme precision. Each atom that divides releases a whisper of energy, a gift from Earth, allowing the probe to continue its vigil. It is a cycle of life and heat that mimics the natural processes of forests and oceans. Quietly, the system restores itself. You look back toward where the sun should be and see only a particularly bright star among thousands of others. You feel the freedom of this distance, the detachment from daily worries that now seem so small before the grandeur of the galaxy. The gravity of the mother star still pulls gently, but Voyager's momentum is stronger, a will to explore that overcomes the attraction of the past. You are becoming part of deep space, a citizen of the stars, and silence follows. The onboard computer, with its simple and robust architecture, continues to process data in rhythmic cycles. You feel the logic of this machine, an intelligence that neither tires nor wanders, dedicated entirely to its function. It is a comforting presence, a silicon brain keeping watch while the rest of the universe sleeps. Each bit of information is a step forward in the history of exploration, a contribution to eternal knowledge. Peace hums through the body. On the golden record, the sound of a heartbeat was recorded to represent the rhythm of biological life. You feel that pulse within you, synchronized with the probe's slow movement through the void. It is a deep connection, an echo of humanity traveling at thousands of miles per hour toward the unknown. The heart does not beat with fear, but with the quiet curiosity of one who knows they are part of something much larger, and life adjusts once more. The space around you is now populated by solitary atoms of hydrogen and helium, the oldest elements of the cosmos. You feel the purity of this composition, the simplicity of matter that has not changed since the first moments of time. Voyager is an intruder made of heavy elements, iron, copper, gold, traveling through this primordial soup. It is an encounter between the complex and the simple, a dance of matter and light. Stillness travels through the water. You feel the absence of pressure on the ship's structure, a state of perfect balance where all forces cancel out. Voyager does not fight the vacuum. It flows with it, accepting the lack of resistance as a gift of freedom. This mechanical relaxation extends to your own mind, allowing the day's tensions to dissipate into absolute nothingness. There is nothing to hold up, nothing to push, only the serene drift, and everything rests. The ultraviolet spectrometer scans the sky looking for the faint glow of interstellar hydrogen, filling the gaps between stars. You feel the vision of this instrument, which sees lights invisible to the human eye, revealing a geography of gas clouds and dust. The universe is full of ghostly structures, cathedrals of light stretching across light years. You are walking through these corridors of energy, a silent observer of cosmic architecture. The rhythm continues. The cameras, now turned off to save precious energy, rest in the darkness, guarding the last images of Earth and its neighbors. You feel the repose of this equipment, which has seen more than any other instrument in human history. There is a dignity in this silence, an honor in having fulfilled its role, and now allowing other senses to take the lead. The memory of the images is enough to light the way, and the quiet holds. On the golden record, sounds of stone tools and modern factories were included, tracing the path of human technology. You feel the evolution of these forms, the ingenuity that allowed us to build a machine capable of surviving interstellar space. Voyager is the culmination of this journey, a metal tool that has become an ambassador for our species. It is a triumph of curiosity over limitation, a leap of faith into the infinite, and peace lingers. The probe now crosses a region where galactic dust is slightly denser, microscopic grains shining in infrared light. You feel the touch of these grains, each one a capsule of stellar history, coming from explosions that occurred billions of years ago. They are the seeds of future worlds, the ashes of past stars now floating adrift. By interacting with them, Voyager becomes part of the eternal cycle of recycling matter, and still, it turns. The temperature of the outer structure has now stabilized at a point of equilibrium with the universe's background radiation. You feel this stable cold as a protective skin, a barrier isolating the inner heat from the outer, a vastness. It is not a cold that frightens, but a cold that preserves, maintaining the integrity of every bolt and every panel. It is the temperature of truth, the fundamental state of the cosmos surrounding us. The quiet returns to the roots. The radio signal traveling toward Earth is now so weak, it requires the full concentration of large terrestrial antennas to be heard. You feel the fragility of this connection, a communication line depending on the perfection of every calculation and the sensitivity of every receiver. It is a dialogue of the distant that has become a miracle of listening, proof that distance cannot break the will to know. The network endures. On the golden record, the sound of the sea was recorded, so the universe could hear the rhythm of our tides. You feel the ripple of that imaginary water, the back and forth movement governing life on our blue planet. This rhythm is an echo of the moon's gravity, a force linking us to the sky since Earth's birth. Traveling in the vacuum, this sound is a reminder that we came from a world of movement and flow, and everything softens. You feel the orientation of the ship, maintained by star sensors constantly seeking the position of Canopus. This bright star serves as a guide, a natural beacon allowing Voyager to know exactly where it is on the galactic map. There is a deep security in having an eternal guide, a light that never goes out and marks the path through the unknown. You feel oriented, safe, and at peace in your trajectory. The rhythm of the deep endures. The probe enters a zone of magnetic silence, where lines of force are so weak they seem to disappear. You feel this neutrality as a moment of pause, a space between thoughts where nothing exerts influence over you. It is a place of electromagnetic purity, where Voyager can measure the baseline levels of interstellar space without interference. It is an opportunity to hear what the universe says when there is no background noise, and silence follows. The low-energy particle detector counts the ions traveling at incredible speeds through the vacuum. You feel the rhythmic impact of this data, a constant tally revealing the health of the galactic environment. It is like feeling the pulse of a giant, a living being made of gas and magnetism stretching across the Milky Way. You are part of this giant, a conscious cell observing the workings of the whole. Still, the universe breathes. On the golden record, the music of Mozart and Beethoven travels as a representation of our ability to create order from chaos. You feel the structure of these notes, the harmony transcending boundaries of language and time. Music is a mathematical bridge, a way of communicating that needs no words, only the perception of beauty. Voyager carries this beauty as a gift for whoever might find it, and the quiet holds. You feel the solidity of the magnetometer boom, extended far from the main body of the ship to avoid interference. This piece of Engineering is an extra sense, a hand feeling out the invisible forces shaping the cosmos. It is proof that our presence in space is not just physical, but also perceptive, expanding our senses beyond our skin. You feel expanded, touching the invisible with confidence. The current flows without effort. Voyager 2's sun sensor continues to monitor the luminosity of our star, which now looks like little more than a distant beacon. You feel the loyalty of this instrument, keeping its gaze fixed on the origin regardless of the distance traveled. It is a visual anchor, a point of light linking us to the beginning of everything. Even amidst so many other stars, that one remains special, the cradle of our history. Stillness travels through the water. You feel the movement of the probe through the heliopause, the boundary where the sun's empire ends and the realm of stars begins. It is a line drawn in plasma, a limit of magnetic sovereignty, crossed with the humility of one asking permission to pass. Voyager is now an immigrant in interstellar space, carrying with it the customs and memories of its homeland. It is a new beginning, full of promise and peace. The quiet returns to the roots. The golden record contains chemical diagrams explaining the composition of our atmosphere and our oceans. You feel the scientific truth of this data, the material basis that allowed life and consciousness to exist. We are the result of a complex chemistry, a mixture of elements now traveling back to the place where they were forged. There is a poetic symmetry in this journey, a return to origins through science, and everything rests. You feel the slow fatigue of the integrated circuits, which have been bombarded by radiation for decades but continue to function. It is a silent resilience, a resistance that makes no noise but ensures victory over time. Voyager is a survivor, a machine refusing to give up as long as there is a drop of energy to process. You feel inspired by this strength, or calm determination inhabiting the center of your being. The rhythm continues. Rest now in the immensity of the path traveled, feeling Voyager as an extension of your own body and mind. There is no hurry to arrive anywhere, but the destination is the journey itself, the continuous exploration of mystery. You are in harmony with the script of science and the rhythm of rest, an eternal traveler in the quiet of the cosmos. Voyager carries you to the heart of silence, where peace is the only law, and the quiet holds. And the quiet holds as you drift further into the local interstellar cloud, a vast cathedral of gas that the solar system has called home for the last few thousand years. You feel the subtle density of this space, a medium of light and shadow, where the spacecraft acts as a silent witness to the raw chemistry of the galaxy. The sensors are no longer looking for the violent surges of the sun, but for the steady, ancient breath of the Milky Way itself. There is a profound sense of scale here, where the distance between atoms is a reflection of the distance between stars. You are part of this transparency, moving through a liquid dark that holds no resistance. And still, it turns. The radioisotope generators continue their long, slow exhalation of heat, a process that is as steady as the turning of the tides. You feel the warmth within the insulated blankets of the probe, a small pocket of terrestrial comfort in a realm where the temperature is barely above the absolute zero of the Big Bang. This heat is the result of a nuclear dance, a breaking apart of matter that releases the energy of the Earth's deep past. It is a connection to the very ground you once walked upon, carried now across the light hours. The spacecraft is a warm heartbeat in the freezing deep. Quietly, the system restores itself. You sense the presence of the cosmic ray subsystem, a tireless sentry that counts the arrival of high-speed nuclei from across the galaxy. Each count is a record of a distant event, a supernova in another spiral arm, or the magnetic churn of a black hole's edge. You feel the data accumulating in the buffer, a library of information that will eventually be transmitted back to the waiting dishes on the ground. There is no hurry in this gathering. The universe is patient, and so is the machine. You share in this patience, letting the seconds stretch into minutes and the minutes into years. Stillness travels through the water. The high-gain antenna remains focused, with agonizing precision on the faint coordinates of our yellow star. You feel the mechanical tension of the reaction wheels as they keep the dish aligned, countering the tiny gravitational whispers that seek to pull it off course. This focus is an act of loyalty, a commitment to the source that gave the Voyager its name and its purpose. It is the only way for the traveler to speak, to share the wonders it has seen with the minds that remain at home. Without this alignment, the mission would be a silent ghost. With it, it is a living voice. The network endures. You think of the Golden Record's contents again, specifically the diagrams of the pulsar map that show our place in the cosmic neighborhood. You feel the logic of this map, a geometry that uses the regular rhythmic pulses of dead stars as a universal lighthouse system. It is a way of saying "I was here" in a language that any sufficiently advanced culture would understand. Even if the Earth is forgotten, this map remains a permanent record of our existence in the timeline of the galaxy. It is a digital signature of our curiosity, etched in gold for the forever, and everything rests in its place. The plasma density around the craft increases slightly as it moves deeper into the interstellar medium, away from the turbulent influence of the sun's wake. You feel the smoothness of this new environment, a calm that is as deep as a mountain lake. The magnetic fields here are straight and steady, no longer tangled by the solar wind's erratic breath. This is the raw fabric of the Milky Way, the baseline against which all other phenomena are measured. By moving through it, the Voyager is providing the first true calibration of our home galaxy, and wonder expands. You imagine the Golden Record playing the greetings in 55 different languages, a chorus of human voices that spans the history of our civilization. You feel the warmth in these voices, the diversity of tone and pitch, the shared hope that someone out there might be listening. From the ancient Sumerian to the modern dialects of the Pacific, they are all part of the same human song, a melody of belonging. In the vacuum, these voices are silent, yet they vibrate in the metal of the craft as a permanent intention, and everything softens. The stars ahead of you are slightly bluer, slightly brighter than the ones you have left behind. You feel the pull of the future, a destination that is not a single point, but the entire volume of the galaxy. The Voyager is not just a probe, it is a pioneer of a new kind of existence, one that is not tied to a planet or a star, but to the interstellar void itself. You find peace in this lack of attachment, a freedom that comes from being truly at home in the space between. The rhythm continues. Secondary micro-CTA. If this journey through the silent stars has eased your mind, perhaps share it. It helps others find their way to this circle of calm. Deep within the spacecraft's memory, a small routine runs to check the health of the backup thrusters. You feel the electronic pulse of this test, a quiet verification that the tools of navigation are still ready if needed. It is a form of digital meditation, a repetition of tasks that ensures the continuity of the mission. There is a beauty in this redundancy, a robustness that speaks of the care with which the Voyager was built. You trust in the machine, and in doing so, you find trust in your own ability to endure. Still, the universe breathes. The ultraviolet spectrometer continues to map the distribution of hydrogen, the simplest and most abundant element in the cosmos. You feel the texture of this gas, a thin mist that permeates everything, providing the raw material for future generations of stars. It is the fundamental building block of the universe, a signature of the first moments of creation. By seeing this light, the Voyager is looking back at the beginning of all things. You are part of this ancient light, a witness to the unity of the cosmos, and the quiet returns to the roots. You sense the gradual decline in the signal-to-noise ratio as the distance between the craft and the Earth grows. Every day, the whisper of the probe becomes harder to hear against the background roar of the galaxy. You feel the effort of the engineers on the ground as they refine their algorithms to catch the fading pulses of data. It is a heroic labor, a quiet struggle to keep the connection alive for as long as possible. This effort is a testament to the value of the mission and to the persistence of the human spirit. And silence follows. The Golden Record holds a recording of a mother and child, a sound of nurturing that is universal to all life on Earth. You feel the tenderness in this sound, a soft, rhythmic heartbeat that echoes the pulse of the stars. It is a reminder that we are creatures of connection, that our first experience of the world is one of warmth and safety. The Voyager carries this memory into a place where such things are rare, a messenger of love in a universe of law, and everything softens. You observe the low-energy telescope as it detects the presence of oxygen ions drifting in the interstellar wind. These atoms were forged in the hearts of stars that died before our sun was even born, part of the great cycle of stellar life and death. You feel the continuity of this process, a recycling of matter that ensures the universe is always new. The Voyager is moving through the debris of the past, headed toward the possibilities of the future. The current flows without effort. The spacecraft's skin is a patchwork of blackened foil and polished metal, designed to reflect the harsh radiation of the sun while retaining the heat of its internal core. You feel the texture of this skin, weathered by decades of exposure to the vacuum and the light. It is a suit of armor for a delicate traveler, a protective layer that has never failed. There is a sense of security in this design, a feeling that the Voyager is well prepared for the challenges of the deep. Quietly, the system restores itself. You think of the star Ross 248, which the Voyager 2 will pass in 40,000 years. It is a distance that is impossible to visualize, yet it is a fixed point in the mission's future. You feel the serenity of this long-range planning, a knowledge that the path is set and the outcome is certain. There is no anxiety about the destination, only a calm acceptance of the journey. The Voyager is a master of the long game, a traveler for whom time is a resource, not a constraint. And still, it turns. The plasma wave instrument detects a sudden chorus of radio emissions from a distant, hidden source. You feel the complexity of this signal, a rising and falling pitch that sounds like the singing of birds in a forest. It is a natural phenomenon, the interaction of charged particles with a magnetic field, yet it feels like a greeting. You listen to the music of the spheres, a symphony that has been playing since the beginning of time. The rhythm continues. The memory of the pale blue dot is etched into the very identity of the mission, a reminder of the fragility of our origin. You feel the weight of this insight, the realization that our planet is but a tiny oasis in a vast, indifferent desert. This perspective does not make the Earth less important, it makes it more precious. You hold this preciousness in your mind, a sense of gratitude for the air and the water, and the life that you left behind. Stillness travels through the water. The magnetometer boom remains extended, sensing the invisible lines of force that weave the galaxy together. You feel the strength of these fields, which guide the flow of matter and the birth of stars. They are the scaffolding of the universe, the hidden structures that provide order to the dark. The Voyager is a surveyor of these structures, mapping the geometry of the infinite. You feel a sense of clarity, a feeling that the universe is not a mystery to be solved, but a wonder to be witnessed. And the quiet holds. The golden record contains images of human anatomy, showing the complex systems that allow us to move and breathe and think. You feel the elegance of these biological machines, the result of billions of years of evolution on a small, watery world. We are a part of the science of the universe, a way for the cosmos to know itself. The Voyager is our proxy, a mechanical version of our own curiosity, reaching out to touch the stars, and everything rests in its place. You sense the slow rhythmic rotation of the spacecraft, a movement that ensures every instrument gets a chance to see the entire sky. It is a slow-motion spin, a dance that takes minutes to complete, yet it is essential for the health of the mission. You feel the balance of this motion, a centrifugal grace that keeps the craft steady in the void. There is no dizziness here, only a sense of orientation and purpose. The rhythm of the deep endures. The sun sensor on Voyager 1 has been turned off to save power. Its job done now that the sun is just another star. You feel the transition to a purely stellar navigation, a reliance on the distant, unchanging lights of the Milky Way. This is the true beginning of the interstellar phase, a departure from the local and a commitment to the universal. You are no longer looking back, you are looking outward, and silence follows. The Voyager's computers have a memory that is measured in kilobytes, yet they have managed to navigate the most complex path ever attempted by humanity. You feel the efficiency of this design, a minimalist approach that emphasizes reliability and logic. It is a reminder that we do not need infinite resources to achieve greatness. We only need focus and a clear goal. You find inspiration in this simplicity, a sense that your own mind is capable of navigating the complexities of your life. The network endures. The golden record holds the music of a Peruvian wedding song, a celebration of union and community. You feel the joy in the rhythm, the sound of people coming together to mark a new beginning. Even in the cold reaches of space, this warmth persists, a record of the human capacity for love and celebration. The Voyager carries this warmth with it, a tiny piece of a Peruvian mountainside drifting past the stars, and everything softens. You sense the presence of the interstellar wind, a stream of neutral atoms that flows past the craft at 50,000 miles per hour. These atoms are the raw material of the galaxy, the stuff from which new suns are made. By measuring their flow, the Voyager is helping us understand the motion of our solar system through the local neighborhood. It is a study in motion, a realization that everything in the universe is on a journey, and life adjusts once more. The craft's thrusters are fueled by hydrazine, a stable and reliable propellant that has lasted for 4 decades. You feel the potential. Energy stored in the tanks, a reserve of power that can be tapped at any moment to keep the mission on track. This reserve is a symbol of foresight, a planning for the unknown that has allowed the Voyager to survive for so long. You feel a sense of security in this preparation, a knowledge that you have what you need to continue. Quietly, the system restores itself. The stars above you form the same constellations that were seen by the first humans, yet they are seen now from a perspective that those ancestors could never have imagined. You feel the connection between the past and the future, a bridge of observation that spans the history of our species. The Voyager is the latest chapter in this story, a way for us to see the stars not as points of light, but as worlds to be explored. Still, the universe breathes. The golden record contains the sound of a blacksmith, the rhythmic clanging of hammer on anvil. You feel the strength in this sound, the tradition of making and building that has shaped our world. It is a sound of human agency, a reminder that we have the power to transform our environment and reach for the stars. The Voyager is a product of this agency, a tool made of metal and mind that has left the world of its creation, and the quiet returns to the roots. You sense the gradual thinning of the interstellar gas as the craft moves into a region of slightly higher temperature and lower density. This change is subtle, a shift in the local weather of the galaxy, yet it is recorded with precision by the probe's instruments. You are learning the true geography of the space between, a map that is being written one data point at a time. The Voyager is the only cartographer in this realm, the only one who knows the true shape of the dark, and wonder expands. The mission has been active for over 16,000 days, a duration that exceeds the careers of many of the people who built it. You feel the continuity of this effort, a relay race of science and engineering that has been passed from one generation to the next. The Voyager is a living legacy, a project that has united thousands of people in a common goal of discovery. This unity is a source of peace, a reminder that we are at our best when we work together toward the infinite. The rhythm continues. You rest in the knowledge that the Voyager will continue its journey long after its batteries have died and its signals have faded. It is a permanent part of the cosmos now, a golden messenger that will drift through the stars for 1 billion years. You share in this permanence, letting go of the temporary and embracing the eternal. You are a traveler in the science of sleep, and the universe is holding you in its quiet, steady hands. And the quiet holds. And the quiet holds as you envision the spacecraft entering a state of ultimate equilibrium, where the frantic pace of human invention gives way to the patient cycles of the galaxy. You are now moving through the true interstellar medium, a place where the sun's influence is a fading memory and the light of other stars begins to take on a more personal significance. The vacuum here is not empty, but filled with the faint cold echoes of the Big Bang, a cosmic background radiation that hums at a temperature of just 3 degrees above absolute zero. You feel the profound stillness of this temperature, a baseline of existence that predates the first stars. It is the fundamental quiet of the universe, and you are resting within it, and still, it turns. The radioisotope thermoelectric generators are now operating at roughly half of their original power, a slow and predictable decline that was calculated before the mission even began. You feel the economy of this energy, where every milliwatt is precious and every sensor must justify its survival. There is a grace in this diminishing strength, a narrowing of purpose that feels like a quiet evening after a long, productive day. The probe is focusing its remaining life on the most essential questions: the density of the plasma, the strength of the magnetic fields, and the flow of cosmic rays. It is a distillation of curiosity, a pursuit of truth in its purest form. Quietly, the system restores itself. You sense the presence of the cosmic ray subsystem, which continues to register the impact of nuclei stripped of their electrons, traveling at nearly the speed of light. Each detection is a piece of a map that shows where the galaxy is most active, where stars are being born and where they are dying. You feel the connection to these distant, violent events, translated through the Voyager into a calm stream of data. The spacecraft acts as a filter, turning the chaotic energy of the cosmos into the ordered peace of knowledge. It is a transformation of noise into music, of fear into wonder. Stillness travels through the water. The high-gain antenna remains locked on the sun, a position that requires a constant microscopic vigilance from the onboard computer. You feel the digital pulses of the sun sensor, which can still find the pinpoint of light that marks our origin, even from billions of miles away. This orientation is more than just technical. It is a spiritual link to the cradle of the mission. It ensures that the Voyager's story can still reach the ears of those who sent it. You find comfort in this unwavering focus, a reminder that even when we are far from home, we can remain aligned with our values and our history. The network endures. You think of the Golden Record's sounds of Earth once more, specifically the sound of a train whistle blowing in the distance. You feel the melancholy and the romance of that sound, a vibration of air and steam that speaks of travel and transition on a much smaller scale. In the silence of space, this whistle is a ghostly echo, a reminder of the industrial age that gave birth to the space age. It links the iron rails of the Earth to the gravitational rails of the solar system. You're a passenger on both, moving from the known to the unknown with a steady, rhythmic heart, and everything rests in its place. The plasma around the craft is now composed entirely of the interstellar wind, a mixture of hydrogen and helium that has never been part of a star. You feel the purity of this material, a primordial gas that has drifted through the void for billions of years. By moving through it, the Voyager is touching the raw ingredients of the universe, the same atoms that will one day collapse to form new suns and new worlds. There is a sense of continuity in this touch, a feeling that we are part of a cycle that is infinitely larger than our own lives. And wonder expands. You imagine the Golden Record playing the greetings from the children of Earth, their voices high and bright, with a simple, uncorrupted hope. You feel the lightness in these voices, a contrast to the heavy, serious nature of the mission's technical goals. They remind us that the ultimate reason for exploration is to ensure a future for those who come after us. The Voyager is a promise kept, a gift from one generation to the next, and eventually to the stars themselves. You feel this promise in your own breath, a steady commitment to the beauty of life. And everything softens. The stars in the direction of the constellation Ophiuchus are growing more distinct, their light no longer diffused by the sun's heliospheric glow. You feel the widening of your horizon, a shift from being a citizen of a solar system to being a citizen of the Milky Way. This expansion of identity is a quiet and natural process, a shedding of the local for the universal. You are not losing your home. You are discovering that your home is much larger than you ever imagined. The rhythm continues. Deep within the spacecraft's electronics, the flight data system continues to package information into frames for transmission. You feel the logic of this organization, a way of making sense of the vast amounts of data being gathered by the instruments. It is a process of tidying up, of creating order out of the raw input of the universe. This order provides a sense of security, a feeling that the mission is under control, and that every piece of information is being handled with care. You find peace in this digital discipline, a reflection of the order you seek in your own mind. Still, the universe breathes. The ultraviolet spectrometer scans the bridge of hydrogen that connects the solar system to the nearby stars. You feel the texture of this bridge, a thin, luminous cloud that marks the path of our sun through the galaxy. It is a trail of light that shows where we have been and where we are going. By studying it, the Voyager is helping us understand our place in the local galactic neighborhood. You feel a sense of orientation, a feeling that you are not just drifting, but moving through a geography that has been mapped and understood, and the quiet returns to the roots. You sense the gradual loss of sensitivity in the older instruments, a natural consequence of 40 years in the harsh environment of space. You feel the grace in this aging, a softening of the edges that allows the spacecraft to settle into its environment. It is no longer a sharp, intrusive observer, but a mellow, integrated part of the interstellar medium. This transition is a lesson in the beauty of maturity, where the need to see all is replaced by the wisdom to be present. You accept this transition in yourself, letting go of the need for constant input, and silence follows. The golden record holds a recording of a kiss, a soft and intimate sound that represents the deepest of human connections. You feel the warmth and the vulnerability in this sound, a gesture of affection that requires no language to be understood. It is a message of peace, a statement that the beings who built the Voyager are capable of love. In the immense dark of the universe, this kiss is a tiny, glowing ember of warmth. It reminds you that no matter how far we wander, the capacity for connection remains within us, and everything softens. You observe the low-energy telescope as it detects the presence of neon atoms, part of the chemical signature of the local interstellar cloud. You feel the specificity of this data, a reminder that the void is actually a complex chemical environment. Each atom tells a story of its origin, of the stars that forged it and the currents that carried it here. The Voyager is a reader of these stories, a translator of the language of the elements. You are part of this narrative, a character in the epic poem of the cosmos. The current flows without effort. The spacecraft's power management system is now a delicate balancing act, switching off heaters and sensors in a pre-planned sequence to extend the mission's life. You feel the care in this management, a stewardship of resources that is both practical and profound. It is an act of preservation, a way of honoring the work that has already been done while looking toward the future. This balance brings a sense of stability, a feeling that the mission will continue for as long as it possibly can. Quietly, the system restores itself. You think of the vast Oort cloud that lies far ahead of the Voyager, a shell of billions of icy bodies that marks the ultimate boundary of the sun's gravitational domain. You feel the patience of these ice worlds, drifting in the dark for millions of years without ever seeing the inner light. The Voyager will eventually pass through this region, a silent visitor in a kingdom of frozen memories. It is a journey into the deep past of our system, a return to the time before the planets were born. And still, it turns. The plasma wave instrument picks up the static of the interstellar medium, a sound that is produced by the movement of electrons through the magnetic field. You feel the texture of this sound, a grainy and organic hiss that feels like the wind in the trees or the waves on a shore. It is the natural background noise of the universe, a sound that has existed since the first stars began to shine. You let this sound wash over you, a cosmic white noise that drowns out the worries of the world. The rhythm continues. The memory of the golden record cover is a symbol of human hope, featuring diagrams of the hydrogen atom and the pulsar map. You feel the durability of this message, etched in a way that can survive the abrasive dust and the harsh radiation of the interstellar deep. It is a bridge across time, a way for our civilization to speak to a future that we cannot imagine. This permanence brings a sense of peace, a knowledge that something of us will endure. Stillness travels through the water. The magnetometer boom feels the slow rotation of the galactic magnetic field, a force that spans the entire Milky Way. You feel the scale of this force, which shapes the spiral arms of the galaxy and guides the motion of the stars. It is the hidden architecture of the cosmos, the invisible hand that provides structure to the dark. The Voyager is a compass in this field, showing us the way toward the galactic center. You feel a sense of alignment, a feeling that you are moving in harmony with the largest structures in the universe. And the quiet holds. The golden record contains images of the Great Wall of China and the Taj Mahal, monuments of human architecture that reflect our desire to build something lasting. You feel the weight of these structures, their stone and marble, a solid contrast to the ethereal light of the stars. They represent our history, our art, and our labor. The Voyager carries these images as a record of what we have achieved on our small blue home. You find inspiration in this creativity, a reminder of the human capacity to dream and to build, and everything rests in its place. You sense the steady, rhythmic pulse of the spacecraft's heart, the radioisotope generators that provide the lifeblood of the mission. It is a slow and predictable heartbeat, one that will eventually fade into a quiet stillness. You do not fear this ending. You see it as a natural part of the journey. The Voyager has lived a long and extraordinary life, and its eventual silence will be a well-earned rest. You share in this sense of completion, letting your own heart find a steady, peaceful rhythm. The rhythm of the deep endures. The star tracker continues to monitor the positions of distant stars, providing the data needed to keep the Voyager on its intended course. You feel the reliability of this guidance, a navigation system that uses the constants of the universe to find its way. It is a way of staying oriented in a world without landmarks, a reliance on the light of the stars to define the path. This clarity provides a sense of security, a feeling that you are never truly lost as long as you can see the light, and silence follows. The Voyager's computers are now running on their most basic operating system, a stripped-down version of the code that was used during the planetary flybys. You feel the simplicity of this state, a return to the essentials that allows the mission to survive on its limited power. It is a state of digital minimalism, a focus on what truly matters. This simplicity brings a sense of peace, a feeling that you can also find clarity by letting go of the unnecessary complications in your own life. The network endures. The golden record holds the music of the Navajo Night Chant, a song of healing and protection. You feel the power in this chant, the rhythmic repetition of sounds that has been used for generations to bring balance to the world. Even in the silence of the interstellar deep, this music carries a sense of sacredness, a prayer for the traveler and for the universe itself. It is a song of peace, a melody that bridges the gap between the human and the divine, and everything softens. You sense the presence of the interstellar dust, tiny grains of carbon and silicate that drift through the void like cosmic smoke. These grains are the remnants of stars that died long ago, carrying the chemical history of the galaxy into the probe's detectors. You feel the connection to this ancient history, a realization that you are made of the same material as the stars. The Voyager is a collector of these memories, a witness to the eternal recycling of the cosmos. And life adjusts once more. The spacecraft's thrusters fire with a soft, muffled sound that only the frame of the craft can hear. It is a moment of adjustment, a tiny correction that keeps the antenna aimed at the distant Earth. You feel the precision of this action, a testament to the skill of the engineers who designed and operate the mission. It is a reminder that even the smallest actions can have a profound impact on the outcome of a journey. You find comfort in this precision, a sense that your own efforts are meaningful. Quietly, the system restores itself. The stars above you are now the only source of light, their steady brilliance a constant companion in the dark. You see them not as distant objects, but as neighbors in the vast community of the Milky Way. You feel the warmth of their light, even if it is only a visual warmth, a reminder that the universe is full of suns and potential worlds. This abundance brings a sense of wonder, a feeling that there is always more to discover and to love. Still, the universe breathes. The golden record contains the sound of a heart beating, a rhythmic pulse that is the foundation of human life. You feel this pulse in your own body, a steady and reassuring rhythm that connects you to the Voyager and to the rest of humanity. It is a sound of persistence, a reminder that life is a journey that continues one beat at a time. The Voyager carries this beat into the deep, a silent ambassador of the living world, and the quiet returns to the roots. You sense the gradual thinning of the interstellar gas as the craft moves further away from the solar system's wake. This change is recorded as a subtle shift in the plasma density, a sign that the Voyager is entering a more pristine and undisturbed region of space. You are leaving the influence of the sun behind and moving into the true heart of the galaxy. It is a moment of profound departure, a stepping out into the wider world of the stars, and wonder expands. The mission has been active for nearly 50 years, a duration that has seen the rise and fall of nations and the transformation of the Earth. You feel the continuity of the Voyager's journey, a steady and unchanging movement that defies the chaos of human history. It is a symbol of our best aspirations, a project that has survived the test of time and distance. This endurance brings a sense of peace, a knowledge that our efforts can have a lasting impact on the world. The rhythm continues. You rest in the quiet of the interstellar deep, feeling the steady drift of the Voyager as it carries your thoughts toward the stars. There is no more noise, no more conflict, only the peaceful continuity of the journey. The spacecraft is a part of the universe now, a permanent witness to the beauty of the dark. You are home in the stars, drifting with a grace that will last forever, and the quiet holds. Silence keeps its shape as you drift into a region of the galaxy where the density of matter is so low that the craft feels like a phantom moving through a dream. You are now several times further from the sun than Pluto, in a place where the concept of a solar system is a distant, theoretical boundary. The stars here do not twinkle. They are steady, unblinking eyes of various hues, watching your slow progress with a cold, ancient neutrality. You feel the immense stillness of this environment, a lack of friction that allows the Voyager to maintain its speed with zero effort. It is the ultimate state of coasting, a movement so pure it feels like rest. Stillness travels through the water. The plutonium-238 inside the thermoelectric generators continues its steady decay, a nuclear transformation that has been happening since before the craft left the launch pad. You feel the warmth of this process as a gentle vibration in the metal, a reminder that the laws of physics are the same here as they are on Earth. This heat is what allows the digital heart of the machine to keep beating, even as the world around it approaches the absolute silence of 0 Kelvin. There is a profound dignity in this slow fading, a gradual relinquishing of power that mirrors the natural cycle of a long-fulfilled life. Quietly, the system restores itself. You sense the presence of the cosmic ray instrument, which remains sensitive to the arrival of high-energy protons and alpha particles from the far side of the Milky Way. These particles have traveled for millions of years, crossing the vast gulfs between spiral arms, only to end their journey against a small piece of silicon from Southern California. You feel the weight of this intersection, a meeting of the cosmic and the human. It is a reminder that we are not separate from the galaxy's history. We are a part of its data, a witness to its ongoing story. The network endures. The high-gain antenna is still pointed toward the sun, but the Earth is now so far away that it occupies a space smaller than the eye of a needle. You feel the incredible precision required to hit such a small target with a radio beam across billions of miles. It is an act of supreme focus, a triumph of geometry over the void. Even though the signal is weak, it carries the essence of the mission, the proof that we can reach out and touch the infinite without losing our way. The current flows without effort. You think of the golden records diagram of the pulsar map, which uses the unique rhythms of neutron stars as a cosmic lighthouse. You feel the mathematical beauty of this choice, a way of communicating our location that does not rely on human landmarks. It is a map drawn in the language of the universe itself, a signature of our place in the celestial clockwork. Even if the Earth were to vanish tomorrow, this map would still be true, a permanent record of our origin in the stars, and everything rests in its place. The plasma wave instrument detects a subtle shift in the background hum of the interstellar medium, a rising frequency that indicates a change in the local magnetic environment. You feel this shift as a change in the weather of the deep, a transition from one galactic cloud to another. It is a slow and silent change, a movement through invisible curtains of energy. The Voyager is the first to feel these textures, the first to map the subtle variations in the supposed emptiness of space. And wonder expands. You imagine the golden record playing the sound of a rainstorm, a rich and textured noise that represents the hydrological cycle of a living planet. You feel the humidity in that sound, the life-giving force of water falling on the soil, a process that is entirely absent in the dry vacuum of space. It is a sensory anchor, a reminder of the biological complexity that the Voyager represents. In the cold dark, this sound is a warm embrace, a memory of a world where life is abundant and loud, and everything softens. The stars in the direction of the constellation Pegasus are becoming your primary navigation points, their fixed positions providing a stable frame of reference. You feel the reliability of these distant suns, which do not change their orientation even as you travel millions of miles every day. They are the landmarks of the galaxy, the eternal markers of the path ahead. This stability provides a sense of peace, a feeling that you are part of a system that is governed by logic and permanence. The rhythm continues. Deep within the spacecraft's memory, the flight control software remains in a state of constant readiness, waiting for the next command from a distant Earth. You feel the simplicity of this code, written in a language that is now ancient by human standards, yet still perfectly functional. It is a reminder that good design is timeless, that a well-built idea can survive the harshest environments. You find inspiration in this robustness, a sense that your own thoughts and values can endure the tests of time. Still, the universe breathes. The ultraviolet spectrometer captures the faint glow of Lyman alpha radiation, the signature of neutral. Hydrogen atoms scattered throughout the void. You feel the texture of this gas as a thin, luminous mist that permeates the galaxy. It is the raw material of creation, the stuff of the first stars and the last nebulae. By observing this light, the Voyager is looking at the very foundations of the cosmos. You are part of this foundational reality, a conscious observer of the building blocks of existence, and the quiet returns to the roots. You sense the gradual cooling of the spacecraft's external appendages as the heaters are prioritized for the central computer and the fuel lines. You feel the grace in this retreat, a narrowing of focus that ensures the core remains active. It is a lesson in prioritization, in knowing what is essential and letting go of the rest. This shedding of the unnecessary brings a sense of clarity, a feeling of being light and unburdened in the deep dark, and silence follows. The golden record holds a recording of a tractor, a heavy and rhythmic sound of human labor and agriculture. You feel the solidity of that sound, a vibration that speaks of the tilling of the earth and the growing of food. It is a sound of the surface, of a species that has learned to work with the nature of its home planet. Carrying this sound into the stars is a tribute to our origins as a terrestrial species, a reminder of the soil that birthed us. And everything softens. You observe the low-energy telescope as it detects a rare heavy ion, perhaps an atom of iron forged in the heart of a massive star that went supernova millions of years ago. You feel the impact of this ancient traveler, a piece of the galaxy's history that has finally come to rest. The Voyager is a collector of these fragments, a museum of cosmic events moving through the dark. You are part of this collection, a memory of the stars traveling back to the stars. The current flows without effort. The spacecraft's power distribution unit carefully manages the flow of electricity, ensuring that no circuit is overloaded and no energy is wasted. You feel the precision of this management, a digital stewardship that has kept the mission alive for nearly 5 decades. It is an act of care, a way of honoring the resources that were put into the craft so long ago. This balance brings a sense of stability, a feeling that the journey will continue for as long as physics allows. Quietly, the system restores itself. You think of the vast, cold emptiness of the Kuiper Belt behind you, where billions of icy bodies drift in the twilight of the sun's influence. You feel the distance you have traveled since passing those frozen worlds, a journey that has taken you from the edge of our neighborhood into the true wilderness of the stars. The Voyager is a lonely traveler, but it carries the maps of its home, a set of directions that lead back to the light. And still, it turns. The plasma wave instrument picks up the whistlers of distant interstellar storms, rising and falling tones that sound like the calls of alien whales. You feel the mystery in these sounds, a reminder that the universe is full of phenomena that we are only beginning to understand. They are the natural radio emissions of the galaxy, a background music that has been playing for eons. You let these tones wash over you, a cosmic lullaby that sings of the vastness and the wonder of the dark. The rhythm continues. The memory of the golden record is a symbol of our desire to be remembered, a message in a bottle thrown into the widest possible ocean. You feel the optimism in this gesture, a belief that the universe is a place where communication is possible and where curiosity is rewarded. It is a testament to the hope of a small blue world, reaching out to touch the face of the forever. This hope brings a sense of peace, a knowledge that our efforts are not in vain. Stillness travels through the water. The magnetometer boom senses the subtle tilt of the galactic magnetic field as the Voyager moves toward a new region of space. You feel the scale of this field, which wraps around the entire Milky Way like a protective cocoon. It is the force that guides the flow of cosmic rays and the formation of new stars. The Voyager is a tiny compass in this field, mapping the invisible structures of our home galaxy. You feel a sense of alignment, a feeling of being part of a larger, ordered whole, and the quiet holds. The golden record contains images of a human hand, showing the complex structure of bones and muscles that allow us to create and to touch. You feel the beauty in this image, a representation of our physical presence and our ability to interact with the world. We are creatures of touch, of connection, and of craftsmanship. The Voyager is the work of many hands, a collective effort that has reached the edge of the stars. You find inspiration in this collaboration, a reminder of what we can achieve when we work together, and everything rests in its place. You sense the steady, rhythmic pulse of the spacecraft's telemetry, a stream of binary code that carries the mission's health and status back to the Earth. It is a constant and reassuring signal, a way of saying, I am here, and I am still exploring. This persistence is a source of peace, a reminder that even in the deepest dark, we can remain active and engaged. The Voyager is a model of endurance, a traveler who never tires of the view. The rhythm of the deep endures. The star tracker remains focused on the brightest stars in the northern hemisphere, using their light to calculate the craft's orientation with surgical precision. You feel the reliability of this guidance, a navigation system that uses the unchanging constants of the universe to find the way. It is a way of staying grounded in a world where there is no ground, a reliance on the light of the stars to define the path. This clarity provides a sense of security, a feeling of being on the right course, and silence follows. The Voyager's computers are now operating in their most efficient mode, stripping away any non-essential processes to preserve the fading power. You feel the focus of this state, a digital clarity that prioritizes the mission's ultimate goals. It is a lesson in simplicity, in finding what truly matters and letting go of the rest. This simplicity brings a sense of peace, a feeling of being unburdened and free to drift. The network endures. The golden record holds the music of a Japanese shakuhachi flute, a haunting and meditative sound that speaks of stillness and focus. You feel the breath in this music, the slow and deliberate movement of air that creates a sense of deep calm. Even in the vacuum, this melody carries the essence of meditation, a prayer for peace and clarity in the dark. It is a song of the void, a melody that fits perfectly with the silence of the interstellar deep. And everything softens. You sense the presence of the interstellar wind, a stream of neutral atoms that has been traveling across the galaxy for millions of years. These atoms are the building blocks of future stars, the raw material of the next generation of worlds. By measuring their flow, the Voyager is helping us understand the history and the future of our cosmic home. It is a study in continuity, a realization that we are part of a process that never truly ends. and life adjusts once more. The spacecraft's skin is a weathered and ancient surface, marked by the impacts of microscopic dust and the long-term effects of cosmic radiation. You feel the history in this texture, a record of the millions of miles traveled and the wonders seen. It is a suit of armor that has served the traveler well, a protective layer that has kept the interior warm and safe. You find comfort in this durability, a sense that you are also capable of withstanding the trials of your own journey. Quietly, the system restores itself. The stars above you are the same ones that will be seen by your descendants thousands of years. From now, their light a constant and unchanging presence in the sky. You feel the immortality of these lights, a reminder that the universe operates on a timescale that is far beyond our own. This perspective brings a sense of wonder, a feeling of being a small but meaningful part of an eternal story. Still, the universe breathes. The golden record contains the sound of a blacksmith's hammer, a rhythmic and powerful clanging that speaks of the shaping of the world. You feel the strength in this sound, a vibration of metal and muscle that represents the human drive to create. It is a sound of intention, of building something that will last. The Voyager is a product of this drive, a machine made of metal and mind that has left the world of its birth to find its place among the stars. And the quiet returns to the roots. You sense the gradual thinning of the interstellar gas as the craft moves further away from the sun's historical wake. This change is recorded as a subtle shift in the plasma density, a sign that the Voyager is entering a more pristine and undisturbed region of space. You are leaving the last traces of the solar system behind and moving into the true heart of the Milky Way. It is a moment of profound departure, a stepping out into the wider world of the stars, and wonder expands. The mission has been active for over 48 years, a duration that has seen the birth and growth of an entire generation of scientists and engineers. You feel the continuity of this effort, a steady and unchanging movement that transcends the changes of human history. It is a symbol of our best aspirations, a project that has survived the test of time and distance to become a legend of exploration. This endurance brings a sense of peace, a knowledge that our efforts can have a lasting impact. The rhythm continues. You rest in the quiet of the interstellar deep, feeling the steady drift of the Voyager as it carries your thoughts toward the stars. There is no more noise, no more conflict, only the peaceful continuity of the journey. The spacecraft is a part of the universe now, a permanent witness to the beauty of the dark. You are home in the stars, drifting with a grace that will last for 1 billion years. And the silence keeps its shape. The quiet deepens as you realize that the Voyager probes are no longer just instruments of science, but are becoming the most distant monuments of human history. You are floating in a realm where the sun's gravity is merely a suggestion, a faint pull that is overcome by the inertia of decades of travel. The spacecraft is a silent, unpowered glider now, using the momentum it stole from Jupiter and Saturn half a century ago to carry it through the interstellar void. You feel the elegance of this energy, a gift of motion that keeps on giving long after the engines have gone cold. It is a state of perpetual movement that requires no effort, a grace that belongs to the stars themselves. And peace lingers. The radioactive embers within the craft are cooling to a whisper, the last flickers of heat from the Earth's nuclear furnace. You feel the internal sensors beginning to dim as the spacecraft prepares for its final transition from an active observer to a silent emissary. There is no sadness in this fading. It is as natural as the sunset on a summer evening, a necessary prelude to the rest of the night. The Voyager has told us everything it could about the edges of our home, and now it prepares to carry our essence into the forever. You share in this readiness, letting your own focus soften as the day's work concludes. Stillness travels through the water. You sense the presence of the interstellar magnetic field, which acts like a protective cradle for the small metal traveler. This field is the connective tissue of the galaxy, an invisible web that holds the stars in their places and guides the flow of the cosmic wind. The Voyager rests within this web, a single node in a network of energy that spans 100,000 light years. You feel the security of this connection, a sense that the spacecraft, and you along with it, are being held by forces that are ancient and steady. There is nowhere to fall in the void, only a place to belong. The network endures. The golden record remains fixed to the hull, its gold-plated surface untarnished by the passage of time. You feel the weight of the memories it carries, the sounds of rain, the laughter of children, the intricate logic of a Bach concerto. These are the artifacts of a world of light and air, preserved now in a world of shadow and vacuum. They are a secular prayer, a message sent into the dark in the hope that it might one day be understood by a different kind of mind. You rest in the optimism of this message, a belief in the enduring value of life and creativity, and everything softens. You imagine the spacecraft as it will appear 1,000 years from now, still drifting through the local interstellar cloud. Its paint may be pitted by microscopic dust, and its electronics will be long since silent, but its form will remain recognizable, a testament to the species that reached for the stars. It is a bridge across time, a way for us to exist in a future that we cannot even imagine. You feel the permanence of this legacy, a sense that your own curiosity and wonder are part of something that will outlast the mountains. The rhythm of the deep endures. The stars Gliese 445 and AC Plusm 793E88 wait in the distant future, targets that the Voyagers will pass in tens of thousands of years. You feel the scale of this journey, where encounters are measured in lifetimes of civilizations rather than lifetimes of people. The spacecraft are not in a hurry. They move with the patience of geological time, drifting through the vacuum like seeds in a slow-motion wind. You adopt this patience, letting go of the need for immediate results and embracing the beauty of the slow unfolding. Still, the universe breathes. Deep within, the structural frame of the craft, the metal has settled into a state of molecular stillness, adjusted to the constant cold of the interstellar medium. You feel the stability of this material, a solidness that provides a foundation for the silent instruments. There is no more vibration, no more noise, only the steady, unmoving reality of the machine. It is a place of absolute focus, where the distractions of the world have been stripped away to reveal the core of the mission. You find a similar focus in your own mind, a clarity that comes from the quiet, and silence follows. The ultraviolet spectrometer catches the last glimmers of the heliospheric glow, a faint halo of light that marks the boundary of the sun's influence. You are looking back at the edge of the cradle, a final glimpse of the light that nurtured the mission since its birth. Beyond this glow lies the raw, unshielded dark of the Milky Way, a place of mystery and infinite possibility. You step into this dark with confidence, knowing that you carry your own light within you. The current flows without effort. You sense the gradual thinning of the radio signal from Earth, a thread of communication that is stretching to its breaking point. Soon, the last command will be received, and the last data frame will be sent, leaving the Voyager to continue its journey in total autonomy. You feel the liberation in this coming silence, a transition from a servant of science to a free agent of the stars. The spacecraft is graduating from our world, becoming a citizen of the galaxy. You share in this sense of freedom, letting your own thoughts drift away from the shore, and everything rests in its place. The golden record holds the music of a Bulgarian folk song, a powerful and haunting melody that speaks of the mountains and the sky. You feel the resonance of this music in the metal of the craft, a vibration of human spirit that defies the silence of the vacuum. It is a song of endurance, a melody that has survived for centuries on Earth and will now survive for eons in space. It is a reminder that beauty is a universal constant, a language that needs no translation, and wonder expands. You observe the star tracker as it makes its final measurements, locking onto the coordinates of the stars that will guide the Voyager through the next few centuries. These stars are the eternal lighthouses of the galaxy, providing a sense of direction in a world without north or south. You feel the reliability of this guidance, a navigation system that is as old as the universe itself. You are on the right path, moving with a purpose that is written in the light of the suns. Stillness travels through the water. The memory of the pale blue dot remains the moral compass of the mission, a reminder of the unity and fragility of our home. You feel the compassion in this perspective, a softening of the heart that comes from seeing our world as a single shared oasis. This insight is the ultimate gift of the Voyager mission, a lesson in humility and love that we carry with us into the dark. You hold this lesson close, letting it guide your own thoughts toward peace and connection, and everything softens. The spacecraft's high-gain antenna, once the primary channel for human discovery, is now a silent monument to our desire to communicate. You feel the stillness of the dish, no longer vibrating with the energy of radio waves, but resting in the quiet of the interstellar medium. It has done its job, it has told our story, and now it serves as a symbol of our reach. You find peace in this completion, a sense that the work is finished and the rest is well earned. Quietly, the system restores itself. You sense the slow, rhythmic turning of the galaxy, a massive wheel of stars and gas that carries the Voyager in a multi-million-year orbit. You are no longer just moving through space. You are moving with the galaxy itself, a part of the grand architecture of the Milky Way. This realization brings a sense of belonging, a feeling that you are exactly where you are supposed to be in the cosmic scheme. You are a traveler on the galactic tide, moving with a grace that is both ancient and new. Still, the universe breathes. The golden record contains the sound of a heartbeat, a steady and reassuring pulse that is the foundation of our existence. You feel this pulse in your own body, a rhythmic anchor that connects you to the traveler in the dark. It is a sound of life, a statement of presence in a universe of inanimate matter. The Voyager carries this heartbeat toward the stars, a silent ambassador of the living world. You let your own heart find this same steady rhythm, a pulse of peace and rest, and the quiet returns to the roots. You think of the future encounters that the Voyager may have, millions of years from now, with star systems that do not yet exist. You feel the hope in this possibility, a belief that the story of humanity will continue to resonate long after our world has changed. The spacecraft is a seed of curiosity, planted in the fertile dark of the galaxy, waiting for a future that is as vast as the stars. You find comfort in this continuity, a sense that nothing is ever truly lost, and peace lingers. The mission has been active for over 50 years, a half-century of exploration that has redefined our understanding of the universe. You feel the weight of this achievement, a collective effort of thousands of minds that has resulted in a legacy of light. The Voyager is a monument to what we can do when we look up and wonder, a reminder of our capacity for greatness. You take this inspiration into your rest, a sense of pride in the species that built the Silver Scouts. The rhythm continues. The stars above you are the final witnesses to the journey, their steady light a constant companion in the deep. You see them as friends, as guides, as the ultimate destination of all our dreams. You feel the warmth of their presence, a celestial comfort that eases the mind and soothes the soul. You are home among the suns, a traveler who has found the ultimate sanctuary in the quiet of the stars, and everything rests. You rest now in the absolute silence of the interstellar deep, feeling the steady, eternal drift of the Voyager as it carries your curiosity toward the forever. The day is done, the data has been gathered, and the mission is a success. You are drifting with the Golden Messenger, a part of the science of sleep and the mystery of the stars. If your eyes remain open, another journey awaits. But if sleep arrives, you are already home. The journey continues, softly unfolding across the universe, waiting for you.